Ideas for emotional check-ins. Hi, I'm Louise Fouché from OTGrow. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Here we discuss tools, tips, and techniques, and today ideas to make you a effective group facilitator. So last week we spoke about getting back to basics and just following the group procedure. And one element of it, especially before we actually start the warm-up and move into the rest of the group, is emotional check-ins. So I'm not going to discuss the reason behind most emotional check-ins, but I did want to give you some ideas. Maybe you are tired of using the same idea over and over again, and so I wanted to just give you a range of things that you can do. And especially if you've got a closed group, then it creates some variety for your clients. So, when we do emotional check-in, what is really important is to get a sense of where is my client at emotionally? What is happening for them on an emotional level, not a physical level? So, there are different ways we can do that. One of the ways, which I'm sure a lot of you are already doing, is just to ask, how are you feeling at this very moment? And what's important here is to ensure that people actually give an emotional word. Another way to do it is often our clients don't have the vocabulary for these emotions that they are feeling. And so, what we sometimes do with our more than in the community, we have got Will Lox's emotional wheel, and we hand that out. It's on laminated pages, and the clients actually look and they see and they identify what it is that they're feeling. So now we have awareness of how they're feeling, but they just don't have the word. And so we give that to them as a tool, and then they more accurately can start identifying. It's not just okay, but it's actually content. Or no, I'm satisfied. It's more than content. And so we have a whole range that we then use. Another way to do that, which I did when I was facilitating at a private clinic years ago, is to take an emoji board, and we had all the emojis on a board, a massive board that we DC fixed over, and the clients would then come and write their names over the emoji that the emotions that they were experiencing. And so here we have a bit more of a visual clue, even though I might not necessarily identify with the actual feeling at the bottom, or it's a way to kind of bridge over of, I have a sense of what I'm feeling, but I'm not quite sure. I can look at the emoji faces and then kind of get a sense and then select one. And what's nice is we're not only working on being able to verbalize or express or identify the emotion, but also people during the group can say, my emotion has changed from this to this. So that's another way that you can do it. So when you get to the emotional check-in, you can have a whole lot of Koki pens that work on whiteboards at least, and then they write it on the DC fix. At the end of the group, you can just wipe it all down and ready for the next group. So that's another way to do emotional check-in. Another way we can do it is to call a pulse. So you can say, I literally just one word of where you're at. And that might not be emotional word, but a word that comes up for you. So I might say torn in two, or deflated, or so there might be words that are not quite emotion, but it just gives us really a pulse. And often if you have quite need some time, or it's later in the day and you've already done a thorough check-in in the morning, then a pulse is really a good way to just one word, where are you at now? So that's another way you can do it. Another way we can do emotional check-ins is with these beautiful paint-coded slips that you get at any paint shop. And you put the different colors down and you ask them, the group participants, to pick a color that they identify with. And what's nice is it's not just blue, but here we get the intensity. A blue of this nature and feeling is very different than a blue of this nature and feeling. And then for the people to briefly just explain, but why? Why am I feeling this type of blue and not this very intense blue? I might say, yeah, it's like a blue, calm, little bit light. It's not nothing heavy, nothing intense, just this calm, kind of like breath, like I'm breathing. And that might give you a very different feel than somebody that says, I'm calm like a pool, but underneath there are things going on, or like a tide or a sea, but underneath there's a lot going on. So we can get a lot from this paint coded strips. So if you haven't got any of these, I suggest you get some in the various colors. They make wonderful, create wonderful opportunities to check in. Another way is with our projective technique cards. And so we put them down. I did this with the leaders of uh, MPO leaders in the community last year. And I asked them not only to check in with them, but to check in with their MPO organization. Where's your organization at the moment? And just really some great things. I find that we're stagnated a bit, the boat that's on the shore, we've stagnated. We've got all these wonderful plans and ideas, but we're just not getting there. There's so many of the mundane things that are keeping us held up that we're actually not getting to our business. And so again, we get such a really nice picture and idea when people check in with our projective technique cards. Another way to check in is with our junk box. So I hope all of you have a junk box. It's all those items that lie around your home, and you can pour them out on your carpet or in the group and say to people, just having a look at these items, which one do you identify with today emotionally, and just tell us one sentence about it. And somebody might say, I'm like this elastic and I'm being really thinly stretched today. It feels like I'm absolutely at my maximum, ready to snap any moment. So there are more than 6 ideas for you to try to check in emotionally with your clients, and it creates some variety and some interesting dynamics that you can bring in. And if you have some ideas that I haven't thought about yet, please share with us on the comments below. I'd really appreciate that. If you haven't tried one of these ideas, maybe in the coming week, try one of them. And in the meantime, happy facilitation.